Hey everyone, I'm John O'Neill, stage manager of Little Women at Asheville Community Theatre. And today I am with the friends of the March family, the Gardners and one of the Moffats. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, who they're playing, and jump right into the questions.
I'm Leslie Lang, Mrs. Gardner.
I'm Morgan Scarborough, and I play Sallie Gardener.
Katie Parsons, and I play Annie Moffat.
Great, thanks for being here, everybody. So jump right into the first question. For those who may not be familiar with the Gardners and the Moffats, tell us who your characters are, what their relations are to the March family, both as a group, like as a family group, as well as individually.
Well, Mrs. Gardner is the opinionated, nosy neighbor who knows all the right ways to behave or ploy for success in society. But is it really the right way? Is it or is it not? She's a very fun character. She definitely creates a different dynamic to the play.
Well, Sallie is Mrs. Gardner's daughter, and she's really just friends with the March girls, especially Meg, and I think just really looks to them. And yeah.
Annie is the oldest Moffat girl, and she's just a really strong person who doesn't quite know how to handle the bridge between Generation 1 and Generation 2. But I think she's a really fun character, and she's got a mind of her own.
And do you think that the girls, the Moffat girls, and the younger of the Gardners see the March sisters the same way that Mrs. Gardner does? Mrs. Gardner seems to look down upon the Marches as a whole, especially the girls. Do you think it's the same for the girls?
I definitely don't think so. I think that throughout the show, Sallie kind of discovers her own opinion of the Marches and really kind of looks at them and is almost jealous of them and all these freedoms and the fun shows that they get to put on. And I think that she really values the Marches.
I think that she sees them as equals, if not looks up to them, because they just live their lives to the fullest and can do what they know or they think is right, and they can make their own decisions without having to be reprimanded constantly.
I also find it interesting how Mrs. Gardner obviously knew them the before and the after with the difference in the financial statuses. And as the audience grows really close with the March family, there could be a whole different story, a more meaningful story for the reasons and the way that they're surviving all of it as well. So it does allow for the girls to show how society doesn't have to be so stuck in its ways and how things can be a little bit different. And there's a little part of Mrs. Gardner that really enjoys the play and the story and the romance and all of that as well. But she would never completely let her guard down.
Yeah, so as we sit here in this crazy time of this pandemic that has made us go from being within the theater to doing it virtually, how has it affected you all as actors? Going from being together in rehearsals to doing it in our homes, and how has it kind of affected everything else, like outside of the theater, just in everyday life?
For me, the pandemic has really made me pause, and it's made me be home more. And there's a lot of things that I miss with the theater and being on the stage and being so busy with the schedule, but yet I've also really enjoyed slowing down, having more time to spend with my mom, with my husband, with my dogs. And it's been really healthy for me, but at the same time, you just really miss being able to see all of your friends. But I think one of the things I miss the most are hugs. I miss greeting and hugging people and seeing them, but really evaluating the difference of quality versus quantity of what you can fit in a time. And I think all of us, it's been able to let us slow down a bit.
I'm going to hop in before the next person answers this question. I also miss hugs, and I specifically really miss Katie hugs.
I feel so loved.
Katie hugs are some of the best hugs in the world. And if you've ever had one, you are also missing them. And if you've never had one, you're missing out.
All right, so I think for me, it's really been interesting to go into quarantine because I'm so used to, I go to school and then I have after school things that I do, and it's a constant go, go, go. And so this has really slowed me down, and it's given me time to work on things that I always kind of push to the side. And also just being able to connect with friends in other ways and really taking the time to call people and talk to them has been really interesting. And as far as theater, it was definitely really interesting to switch to going online because I feel like so much of theater is the interaction that you have with people on the stage and that kind of energy and going off of each other. And it was interesting because we'd already kind of developed that when doing rehearsals. And so then with the switch to virtual, I had to kind of take a step back to where I feel like I started with the character and kind of reevaluate, what are her motives? What is she like really doing? What is she thinking? And really express that just through facial expression, which was a really interesting switch to make.
It's definitely made me miss hugs, especially John hugs, because my personal opinion, John gives the best hugs, just saying. But it's kind of crazy because I've missed like my high school orientation. I don't know at all what I'm doing next year. I don't even know my way through the building. That's going to be a fun experience. But, and some of the shows that I've been in were like canceled or attempted to be postponed, or then they're just like, nope, we're going to cut those now. But it's definitely made me stop and think and made me appreciate the little things a lot more. Just like, even if we just go hang out in the backyard and read a book in companionable silence, it's really fun. And I don't think I would have realized that before the pandemic.
My husband built me a swing set. So we swing every day in the backyard. It's lovely.
That is so sweet.
Adorable. Who says swing sets are only for kids?
No, kidding. I swing. And you said, do you want your own swing or do you want a big swing for both of us? I said, no, I want my own swing.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna go on to our last question, and it's the last question that I've asked everybody in the cast. What is your favorite line of the show? It can be yours, it can be somebody else's, but what is your favorite line of the show?
Oh, I love mine. It is never polite to gossip until you have all the facts.
That's my favorite too. I love that line so much.
I personally really like Joe's line, insert whistle here because I can't whistle. Vocabulary, Christopher Columbus, aren't we proper?
Oh.
Yeah, Dylan said he had a couple, and then he said all of Mrs. Gardner's lines.
Oh,
all of your lines are his favorite because you have some great ones.
It's such a fun role. It is such a fun role, and I'm sad that I don't get to play it on the stage with the costume and just as explosive as she could be. You can't do that as much on this, so. But I'm still having fun.
And in the end, that's all that matters, right? Having fun and telling the story.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you three so much for coming on and letting me ask you some questions to get to know about your character and your life outside of the theater. So wave to everybody, and we hope you all come see the show on May 30th.